Evening, fellow zombies. From Rosamond, California. 6 p.m. West Coast time. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of July, 2024. And yes, the political pundits are still at it again. They're talking about more energy is necessary for the Democratic Party to get a major foothold and go after Trump left and right. Well, yes, I probably would have to do that anyway. I live in a territory that doesn't like Democrats all that often. They kept voting in McCarthy all those times. Past, I don't know, how many, couple of decades we got within that time since he had been in office. They also voted for Trump. So I'm already knowing most of the, as I said before, most of their heads are at is Trumplican Party territory. They'll blame everybody else, but they won't take accountability, transparency, or responsibility. Welcome to Rosamond, California. Actually, welcome to Kern County, California. So, we happen to get things screwed up over here. Blame the voters. I always do. It always takes voter input and action, and if they can't get that much of an action into their community, and they get slop out of it, well, I blame them. I always blame the voters on that one because if they can't get their actions going, they won't get shit done. Period. Shout out to the Buckwheat out there. Yeah, some days get triggered, and other days I don't get triggered as much. Uh, we get storm systems coming in. I get triggered on that one, but not the emotional where I'm having a nervous breakdown at that point. No, opposite. I'm going on mania. I'm going on manic at this point, especially when we see the patterns drifting into the region of Southern California, going up north. We got the low pressure and high pressure steering in all this moisture and energy, but unfortunately, my little territory, the Antelope Valley, is getting bypassed. At least my territory of Rosamond gets bypassed. Everyone else, they get the action. I see the clouds going by at a massive amount of energy. And I'm like, what? I don't get any action on the camera here? Apparently not. But if I have it overhead, if we get the overhead and we get conditions just right, I keep screaming for a Nikon. I keep screaming for a Nikon. I need a damn camera instead of this damn thing. That's the only thing I got, so what the hell? Use what I got. And try to get the pictures and videos as much as I can. Post them online when I can. I was talking to a priest, telling him about what's going on these days. Telling him my enthusiasm for the weather. Well, instead of going crazy regarding the political nature we have right now, and yes, I did say the shit. I did say something about this in my earlier videos concerning about the shit show I saw yesterday. Whew, God bless it. They weren't going to be supportive. No, they wanted her out. They wanted made it publicly known of their pure displeasure at this point, both Democrat and Republicans. That's why Cheadle walked out at the Secret Service. And Vice President Harris is pushing her bid left and right, and the Trumplicans out there and the critics are having a field day with her again. They don't like her smile, energy, enthusiasm, and they think maybe she's not the right candidate, and yet the Democrats are saying, yay, because Biden's old and slow. And I keep thinking to myself, you guys are discriminatory against elderly people. You are. Even the elderly are going after their own selves. God. But they want to get fresh, enthusiastic, energetic person, a presence, to knock against the Republican Party at this point. Or the Trumplican Party, actually. So now Vice President Harris is pushing up her publicity left and right. Trumplicans will look at her as the party girl and start to sneer because she's like this. Sneering at Harris because she's so energetic. How dare she? Yeah, well, she's theirs. And I hope she gets more. Kennedy's pissed off about it. Guess he's not getting enough care and love from the media. Oh, well, that's because of his own nutjobness. If he wants to be a conspiracy nutjob, be my guest. One of the things I kept coming across in the Independents, they're still talking about the campaign 2025, created by the Heritage Foundation, Nightmare on Elm Street. And they want to commercialize and privatize several departments we depend upon. And they want to put in Trumplicants in there. That means concerning about this one pisses me off. Not exactly the Department of Justice or Homeland Security. Oh no! Let's screw around with the weather. No, not the weather. Yes, we'll screw around with the weather. We must put our Trumplicants in place regarding the weather and tell them exactly what we have. If it's a hurricane, it's a nice sunny day. If there's a tornado coming at your ass, oh, it's just a simple breeze. Nothing to be concerned about. If we have smoke in the air, just take a lungful. By the way, I want more ducats. Come on, baby, I just gave you my worthless advice. I want those money. I want the ducats.
Yeah, damn it, I'm a Trumplican in this office over here, and I want my damn money. I'm going to get it out of you one way or another.
Ah! That's how it is. How about that? Besides the weather situation, I was also thinking about National Public Broadcasting. For decades, ever since we had this thing going on and we had kids educated on how to speak, spell, write, do mathematics, understand history, understand topics, understand social situations happening. No, it's this indoctrination. It's democratic, it's woke, it's liberalism. How can you do it? Defund them now. Wow, that was so energetic. I just knocked out some plastic bags to the ground. How about that one? Well, that's terrifying. I don't have the power. And neither does the Trumplican or Republican Party, trying to defund it every single damn time, and they kept running into a roadblock. I mean, what is it, about 500 or 600 million? Funding for the stations, funding for the programs? Millions instead of billions, would it be? Instead of getting a bomber or a new fighter plane or a new weapon system, which costs billions of dollars. No, 500 or 600 million. No. I need my yacht. I want my yacht. I don't want you to educate kids. I want my yacht. How dare you? So it's like every once in a while I come across these articles and I'll come across these belly achings from the politicians out there that just keep screaming they want to defund National Public Broadcasting. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, actually. That's it, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. They want to get rid of Sesame Street and any other kind of kiddie show out there. Hell, even Nova. How about the PBS NewsHour? Nature? Science, educational programs? News programs? Get rid of them all. We don't need such liberal and wokeism here. That's all we got is liberal and wokeism. How dare you? Even this dog is liberal and wokeism. That's all she is just a dog. She don't understand much. We got to keep them on their level, you understand? Do you feel me? Now, we have to do it right. We have to do it our way. And by the way, you're going to support all these nice programs we have coming out from the superintendents of education and all stats. Yes. See, we don't want their programming. We don't want their level of education. No, we want ours. I got the Bible right here. You're gonna learn it. That's how it is. I don't care what anybody else says about this thing. Who cares what you think about it? It's what I care. And I'm telling you what you're going to be caring about. Don't you understand? I mean, I could do all the, they call it racial slurs, but what we really want at this point over here. Ain't that right? That's right, ain't it? Sometimes when I get in those kind of characterizations, I just want to throw up myself, on myself for that one. And dealing with this kind of backward, I call it backward ass mentality at this point over here, it's no wonder I'm pissed off at a hell of a lot of people who think ignorance is bliss. My mother, a long time ago, was a champion of education, but the problem is, in her life experiences, forced her out of school, and she wanted to learn like crazy. She read the paper, she did crossword puzzles, she wanted to read books, she wanted to learn about things. Her brain was trying to absorb a lot of information out there. She wanted her sons to be that way. She wanted me to be that way. We engaged in politics. We engaged in discussions. She encouraged me to read about sciences. She wanted me to have a good education. The problem is I kept screwing the damn thing up left and right. Didn't even see what the reason was. I didn't see her perspective back then. Despite the fact she kept trying to force it on me. But then she really got pissed off is when I screwed up 2.5 years of college. After 2 years of going to one particular community college, they kicked me out for about an academic year, and I had to go back in for another semester. But I felt like because of the work I was doing at the time, which was retail hell, there was no way in hell I could complete it. That's why I call it 2.5 years of wasted college education right there. My GPA wasn't the level that they wanted in the first place. Each semester had to be at a certain level, and if it wasn't there, I had the letter of academic separation for about a year. That's what forced me into retail hell. And then when I got into a position where I can actually get some classes for 1 year, or actually for one semester, it was playing havoc with my work schedule and the money coming in. And I couldn't complete the education. I didn't have the grants. I didn't have the loans. Didn't have anything else to give us income coming in there. So I had to work. I had to work my ass off for full time. And I kicked myself for over 30 plus years on that one. I mean, 30 and some odd years at that. And I regret it every single time. And by the time I got in, I was way too damn old. I figured I could get me a PhD in my lifetime. But when I got into college, it's like right after Mom passed away back in 2013 or 2014, somewhere in that time zone. I think 14. I wanted something. A friend of ours in a meeting hall talked to my brother and me. My brother was going to do it because he was bored as hell. Right after Mom's death, we got ourselves a trailer home to live in for a while out here in Roseman. All we did was meetings, meetings, meetings. Told there was a guy in the meeting, said, "This is all you do is meetings?" He goes, "Yep." Right after Ma, we didn't have a place. We didn't know where to go to. And he was telling us ways to get into the college, which were legal. And because of our situations, we would qualify. I'd go to school, find out, fill out the paperwork, get tested. My brother, he just wanted to take classes for fun. But I didn't know what the hell I was going to be getting myself into back in college, so I just wanted to hang out and see what happened after one semester. Then I saw my brother's health taking somewhat of a turn. I had to be careful and watch him, so I took a class with him in it and took another class I wanted to get started in it and found out I was totally unprepared for it. Despite the fact that computer suggested, yeah, I knew English 101, I knew how to construct sentences, I knew how to identify, I knew how to compare and contrast, I had some skills. So, yes, passed English 101. I should have taken a damn class. Oh, 30 years, I got rusty as hell. Wasn't writing as much. And math, well, definitely sucked. So I forestalled on that one for you for a long while. But I can do history. So I took a history class with my brother. We took Vietnam. Had a Vietnam protester right in the class. I learned about his style of Vietnam. There were several veterans in the class got pissed off, walked out. I think about 2/3 of the class, and I stayed in to complete the course. But they made petitions to the dean and to the administrator at the time, and they reviewed the material, and they said this is not the correct material. This is not what we told them that they were allowed to use. So the professor got stuck with doing U.S. history, his version of it. I hadn't seen him since. But the students who walked out still got full credit for the class anyway. And so did I, because I was doing work. But I wanted to learn about Vietnam. I wanted to learn about the battles. I wanted to learn about the politics, what was going on behind the scenes. So even if it was from a protester's point of view, if they were doing the political side, that would help out. That's called research. But the guys who've been through it, who've been through combat, it just wasn't for them. And my brother was also taking another class at the time that was stressing him out. I mean, he had taken another history course. He excelled on that one, but he also tried to take a math course. And he couldn't complete it because he had a massive. He had a heart attack. It wasn't a massive one, thank God. But his doctor was giving an earful when my brother walked out of the emergency room after they got him stabilized. Found his levels weren't the best. Next day he goes to his doctor's office, gets his ass reamed left and right. Why didn't you stay in the hospital, you bastard? They're gonna stabilize you over there. Oh, my brother and the doctors had that kind of relationship. But as I was in the class, actually in the school for that semester, my brother's going through the second semester. I'm starting my first, and going through critical thinking and literature. They're teaching mostly on how to write style of MLA and APA and APLs, but mostly MLA style. And if you're a collegiate, you're an academic, you know what the hell I'm talking about, because there are certain social study classes out there and liberal study classes. They got different styles of writing. I had to learn one of them. And this class is supposed to be teaching us literature while teaching us writing skills. I should have taken 101. But I would have surpassed him, according to his computer skills, so I did. So, taking English classes here and there when I can, just to get the skills up mostly. Taking social studies classes, get my skills up even worse on that one. Just keeping it going. It's going to tear me apart, especially when it's going to be my last term coming. Probably another year or less. I talked about this a lot of times on this one because this really hurts like hell. When you're facing the end of the journey, it's hard as hell to face it because I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. The problem is I like the community college level. It was easy going. If I could get me another, if I'm allowed to get another major besides an AA in liberal studies, could I do that? And we could actually go for a bit of a major of something else. Or maybe not. I don't know. But they'll tell me. I have to go back to class. Actually, I have to go back to the counselor's office, talk to them about it. Because I don't want to leave. I've been at it for a long while. I've enjoyed myself. I've been enjoying myself. It's like I was at home again. A different level. When my mother was around, we'd be talking about topics. So we'd talk about mostly politics she'd love to get into. So we talk about things. We talk about a bit of science when she'd understand a little bit about science. English literature, we talk about that. We would talk about the shows of England being broadcasted on public broadcasting. Comedies, dramas, mysteries. I'd gotten hooked on it. I'd gotten hooked on it when Ma was alive. After she passed, I had to rediscover it all over again because reminders. But I still like watching some of those shows and wanted to get them on tape or actually on DVDs. They're on streaming, so I can try searching them, but they cost. If I could find some of them online, YouTube, if I could watch it for free, I can get into it. I'd watch seasons after seasons of Midsummer Murders. If I could find it, I'd watch Cadfile. My mother raised me on literature. She wanted me to be intelligent. She always thought I was a special kid. I kept saying to myself, I'm not a special kid. What the hell makes me damn special? In her eyes, I was always special. So was my brother. My brother was special. He was first born. He was always getting his ass in trouble all the time. The rest of the time, he was always coming through and helping out left and right. I was just tail end Charlie sometimes, I felt. Guy being the pack mule. Wasn't challenging myself. Wasn't wanting to challenge myself. That was the problem. I didn't have the enthusiasm like I had seen other students trying to go for. She must be obeyed. Ma, come here. It's all right, honey. Come here. Hey, thought you wanted me. Come here, sweetheart. Come here, sweetheart. Come here. Come here. Mama. You're just going to stand there and she's going to stand there and whine. Okay, fine. Be that way. Dog with dementia issues. Senior citizen. That day's going to come. And I'm not looking forward to it either. Yeah. Another one. Okay, that being said, I was trying to cover several topics at the same time. Memories I've hidden and things happening currently. So I'll report what I can when I can, because of power consumption, not to mention how much gigs I can put on a flash drive, and other factors involved. Piece of advice. I've come across this on many topics. I've come on many independents out there who've done their own tubes out there. Some of them are trying to be focused enough of talking what they need to talk about, and sometimes I can follow them, and other times I have to rewind the video just to see what's going on. And some of the topics I've seen, some of the independents, I really wanted to go after people that are saying, wait, let's backtrack that now, hon. One of the guys I watched is Bo of the Fifth Column, and he'll do these little snippets. It's like headlines. Then I'll get to another channel that does headlines. But he doesn't give me enough information. It's like you throwing a newspaper at people. So just read the headlines, read maybe the first paragraph, and that's about it. That'll give you all the information. No, you got to read most of the information on the article in there to find out what the hell's going on. Otherwise, you're not going to have the full story. Schmucks. That's what I never liked about those guys in the first place. They don't go fully in detail about it. The Young Turks will go fully in detail about it, but they still irritate the living crap out of me because they are focused and secularized. They're not broad spectrum. When it came down for President Biden having health issues at this point, my God, they jumped on him. They didn't like him in the first place. They don't like Trump, but they don't like anybody else in the first place. They want to be fair. They want to be accurate. No, they're discriminatory as hell. They're not open. They'll jump on themselves if they had to. God, they're like a velociraptor. It's got to jump on everything that moves, including a bigger story, a bigger monster. And they'll argue with each other about it. Yeah, it's nice to have an argument here and there. Yeah. But when you want to tear them apart left and right, give me a frickin' break, damn it. I've heard ramblings. I've never heard people trying not to focus. Things happen, yes, in life. And sometimes it's overwhelming as hell. And it's hard to focus on one specific item or two to talk about. Especially when we are that overwhelmed and going crazy over the damn topics left and right. Now, you notice I don't move very much, except when I can. This is my usual broadcasting spot anyway. I mean, I'd shown some of this stuff anyway. But it's where I'm comfortable at. My comfort level, I'm dealing with a dog, and she's stressing my comfort level at this point. Now, because her health is deteriorating a bit more, I'm worried about her, and I'm worried about the after effects and how I have to deal with it afterwards. Whether or not if I'm going to be coherent enough, or actually am I going to be with it enough to deal with it. Now, every time I keep going through the major grief cycles, every time I keep losing people left and right, there's always that honeymoon period. There's always that numb period for about maybe a year or two. And then afterwards, BAM! Then the emotional walls kick in. And then the tsunamis. Whatever kind of euphemism and metaphor I can use to describe the feelings are hitting, that's when it hits. Now, I'm already doing the pre-mourning right now and the pre-grieving as it is on some occasions. Thinking about my dog, and yeah, I will cry like a cry. I cry, basically. Okay? And I'm not looking forward to that day. My brother had told me a long time ago to get ready for Ma's death, and I didn't, and I got hit by that one. And for about a year, we were managing on autopilot. And then afterwards, it started to seep and creep in, and I had to seek therapy for it. I've got therapy now. I've had it for about a year and a half. I got something to work with. I got this. I do audio recordings on this. Transfer them into the damn drives. But I'm finding ways on how to get it managed, but it still doesn't take away the pain or the grieving or anything else like that. It doesn't. So that's what I talk. That's what I talk. So, this is how I go. This is how I roll concerning about my own recordings at this point. We can be comfortable in the areas that we have to do our broadcasting, and we try to communicate our ideas and our values and whatever's going on through our skeevy brains, skeevy minds, and squishy organ air of what we are observing through our five senses. And sometimes it doesn't come across all that well to others. And other times, they get it. They get it. It's a hit and miss sometimes, I feel like, on YouTube, but you know what? I really care about that one. I know other people think they're coming across, maybe they're not communicating effectively enough. Well, they are in their own way. A transmitter's only doing as much as the transmission can do. The receiver station, well, they got to be better at it. Better at deciphering. You know what the weird problem... I'm going to finish this thing up. You know what the weird problem is about communicating to the cosmos? when we did the city program like crazy. Still out there, but low key these days. And they would use the telescopes and they would broadcast the messages in the hope that maybe the universe would listen to them. And you know what? The universe is like, ugh, what the hell are you again? And then we start to learn more and more about cosmology, the distances between galaxies, the planets, the universe itself, composition, and more information we keep discovering with new technologies, new satellites out there. We're discovering that, holy shit, we are alone. And for the reasons why. If we are going to have somebody out there listening, I hope to God they got our message and know how to interpret the damn shit. We already sent FedExes out there. Pioneer 10, Pioneer 11, Voyager 1, Voyager 2. I mean, that's four interstellar, almost becoming intergalactic pieces of mail going out there to let people know what's going on. On the Pioneers, we had placards of showing about our planet and people. On the Voyager, we told them how to do a record, how to do a laser disc. If they can get the information off the damn thing, cool. But if it's going to be space junk because of radiation and particles out there and whatever, well, they're mincemeat anyway. It's like dealing with your lost mail out here with the U.S. Postal Service or with another carrier anyway. Well, that's what we got to deal with. And right now, we got to deal with what we're looking at and how we're transmitting our stuff, and then praying to God that someone else actually listens and understands what the hell they're talking about. We can listen and we can comprehend. I guess that's half the battle. Now, responding in kind. There's the other rub, isn't it? That's the other rub, isn't it?